Good morning. I just wanted to pop in real quick and share a couple of blending tips. I've been working on the bench that we're making out of an old headboard, or actually two headboards and a footboard. And last night I came in and put the first coat of my light color paint for this project, which is Faded Burlap by DIY. And then I couldn't help myself to go ahead and go around the edges with the darker, and I've used all of that now. And that is the Prairie Gray. But I wanted to give you one or two more tips. I'm coming in with the third color, which is Sandy Blonde, which is not exactly in the same color family as the other two. So a lot of times you're looking for colors that mesh together to blend well together, unless you're going, with polar opposites. But I wanted to show you that I'm doing this on purpose because I want it to kind of highlight here in the middle. So I've actually, you can see where I came back around with the dark this morning, and then it just looks a little splotchy here in the middle. That's where I put the Sandy Blonde. And I've splotched a little through the center of all of the areas, actually. And now I'm going to blend over it. And this misting bottle, you can get these on Amazon, or we have them at our store. You can get them at beauty supply houses or things like that. When you're working with a clay-based paint or a chalky paint, you can always reactivate that paint with the misting bottle. I'm using my paint Pixie brushes, and these hold a tremendous amount of paint. As I've told you before, there's a good breeze coming through here this morning. My paint's actually drying pretty fast. So I wanted to give you the tip to use the misting bottle to keep that wet, so your brush will keep flowing. My brush is already wet. I just cleaned it because I was using it this morning. But I'm going to come back over with my lighter, or my main color, which is the, what was that, Faded Burlap? Which is the Faded Burlap. But I want a little light to be reflected off of this centerpiece, so that's why I went ahead and put in the Sandy Blonde. And I actually chose Sandy Blonde for this because that color is reflected in the seat cushion that I have here, that'll be on the final project. So the darker color, the lighter color, and then another corresponding lighter color. This could have been a white or anything else, but because I know that it will blend in well with my cushion in the long run, I went with that color. So you want to start with a damp brush. I'm just dipping my brush in my little bucket of water here. I know I don't have you far enough back to see everything. And then I'm going to mist. I'm going to work on this piece, because I think that's what you can see the best. And this isn't like a squirt bottle you get in lawn and garden, to where it's power spraying on a gush of water here and there that's going to create a lot of runs. I don't want any runs on this. That's not the type of project that I'm working on. But I am going to mist and sort of dampen and what they call reactivate this paint with this mister. And it's so hot out here that it's actually drying about as fast as I spray it on. I got a little bit too much water on my brush. I can feel it dripping down, which would cause a drip later, but I'll just wipe it back off. Thanks for joining me this morning. I hope that you're having a wonderful day where you're at. I'm trying to hop to it. I've got 8 more days to have this piece finished and staged and photographed and submitted into Art Central. So I'm going to keep working at it. So you can see with this lighter color, I'm going right over the darker color I have on the edges. I'm going right over the Sandy Blonde I have in the middle. I'm not getting a ton of paint. I'm just getting a tad of paint on the tip of my brush. With the Paint Pixie brushes, they hold so much that you can make it all the way across. If I was using a chip brush or a cheaper brush and trying to make it all the way across, it wouldn't hold enough paint for me to make it all the way across. Normally you don't spend a whole lot of time going back and forth in your paint, but because I pre-misted it and I have water on my brush and keeping it flowing there, and then this is holding so much water and paint, I'm able to do that. So it may seem to the naked eye, why would you, or if you've not blended in this fashion before, why in the world would you put the other color in the middle and then cover it back up? Why would you put the darker colors on the edges and then cover it back up? And it all has to do with depth and the perception of light, and where the light would normally hit the piece and where the piece would age the fastest in the real world, if this were the original finish, which is kind of the look that we're going for. And the way that you get that depth and you get that light is by adding it in with paint. That's sort of the miracle of the paint here. It's already drying a little. I'm going to mist it a little more. But hopefully you can see where it is still lighter in that very middle and a little bit, just a little bit of a different tone. I'm going to continue with this procedure all the way around the piece. The side panels each have the darker and then the sandy blonde in the middle, and I'm going to go over them from head to toe with this faded burlap, and then I'll post you some pictures later today showing how it comes out. I appreciate you checking it out, and if you're interested in one of the Paint Pixie brushes or in the DIY paint, I'll drop some links down in the comments later today whenever I'm done painting, and you can always check that out and they'll ship it right to your house. Thanks.